While jubilating through the labyrinthine corridors of contemporary political discourse, the erudite Hasanabi emerges as a beacon of perspicacity, offering his trenchant critique on the current geopolitical maelstrom, particularly the Israel-Palestine imbroglio.
From like every Palestinian is a rabid dog that deserves the fucking boot to who cares about this stuff anyway, dude? Imagine, just vote blue. Like, cares about this stuff. These guys are, it's like a collection of individuals that I feel like are basically in a cult. Like the way they operate, it's so cultish, it is actually kind of shocking. It did feel like I peeked into the world of like dudes who are, you know, getting aneurysms off of the lace bra being incorporated into one of 72 Alpha Son Stellar Blade type shit. You know what I mean? Like, it feels wild. It feels wild to see. I have to believe that it's AstroTurf for my own fucking sanity. Because, like, even the people I know in my life that I sometimes communicate with that have been, like, unconditionally dick riding Israel, even they are, like, a little bit more quiet lately, which actually is shocking. Like, I checked out r/news earlier to see what they said about the students, and they said the students deserve to get put in Gaza because they're making Biden lose the election. Yeah, I hope that, like, there aren't that many people out there who legitimately feel that way, right? I feel like that's the most, I mean, that is the ultimate divorcelli Octoberelli take, right? Which is, you know, demanding the white supremacists run over Black Lives Matter protesters because, like, they're actually fucking up the bag for Biden in the upcoming election. Like, they're making Biden look bad. That is, like, that was his take. That was one of his many fucking spicy takes that were just completely unhinged that got him banned off this website. And I don't know, it boggles my mind that people do operate that way, where it's like, so I guess you just don't care about, like, voting beyond the fact that your team wins or something. I will never understand that. Like, I've always looked at politics, and I think you should look at it in this way as well, because this is what politics is, whether you recognize it or not, as a means of distributing resources and power. That's what politics is at the end of the day. You vote for your team, and your team is like, here are some of the resources that we'll allocate to the things that you care about. And then the other team is like, absolutely not. Fuck that. We're also going to take away extra resources or whatever, right? And yet, for some reason, Americans don't see it that way at all. They just see it as like, nah, it's just team sports. Like, I get nothing out of it. It's okay. Both of the teams are on the same side, actually. And it's fine as long as my team wins. It's just like, I don't recall a time, at least in my political commentary career, where so many, like, liberal, left-adjacent content creators were so openly just channeling all of their energy into just dick riding whatever the Democratic Party is defending. That's just what we get from mainstream media, right? Like, I don't understand why there are online commentary. There's online commentary that is basically just the same exact shit. Like, online commentary is just like doing a shittier version of Rachel Maddow. It's like, bro, what is your audience? Your audience is just like Rachel Maddow, but I want to be able to say the N-word. Is that what it is? Like, what a weird constituency. Anyway, it's very odd. It's very strange stuff. And it's like spiritually, we're in a strange place in America. And I don't.
With the rhetorical aplomb of a seasoned orator, he dissects the extreme and dehumanizing rhetoric directed at Palestinians, drawing a parallel to the fervor of cult-like adherence among some factions. This parallel underscores the alarming intensity and uncritical nature of certain pro-Israel stances, a phenomenon that Hasanabi finds both disconcerting and revelatory. Hasanabi's astonishment is palpable as he recounts the fervent, almost unthinking support for Israel exhibited by individuals within his own social milieu. The once vociferous advocates of Israeli policies have, however, adopted a more subdued tone of late, a shift that Hasanabi notes with a mix of surprise and contemplation. This quieting of voices might suggest a growing awareness of the complexities at play, or perhaps a strategic retreat in the face of mounting global scrutiny. The narrative takes a darker turn as Hasanabi addresses the vitriolic backlash against students who dare to advocate for Palestinian rights. The suggestion that these students be exiled to Gaza for purportedly jeopardizing President Biden's re-election prospects is a stark manifestation of the extreme reactions that have infiltrated public discourse. Hasanabi astutely compares this to the radical positions historically held by white supremacists, drawing a chilling parallel that underscores the depth of intolerance and the lengths to which some will go to silence dissent. This myopic prioritization of political victory over substantive policy outcomes baffles Hasanabi. He is confounded by the phenomenon where the endgame is not the betterment of society or the just resolution of conflicts, but merely the triumph of one's political faction. This reductionist view of politics as a zero-sum game diminishes the very essence of democratic engagement and undermines the potential for meaningful, equitable governance. Central to Hasanabi's thesis is the notion that politics should be regarded as the judicious allocation of resources and power. This perspective, he contends, is often lost amidst the fervor of partisan allegiance. The civic arena, in Hasanabi's view, is a battleground for the equitable distribution of societal benefits, a stage upon which the drama of human needs and aspirations unfolds. The relegation of this noble pursuit to mere team sport is a travesty he cannot condone. His critique extends to the liberal and left-leaning content creators, whom he chastises for their uncritical parroting of mainstream democratic rhetoric. This echo chamber effect, Hasanabi argues, serves only to reinforce existing paradigms without fostering critical analysis or independent thought. He likens these commentators to less polished versions of mainstream media figures like Rachel Maddow, suggesting a homogenization of discourse that stifles diversity of thought and perspective. Hasanabi's lamentation reaches its zenith as he reflects on the spiritually dissonant state of America. The Zeitgeist, he implies, is fraught with a peculiar malaise, a collective disillusionment that pervades the national consciousness. This spiritual malaise, symptomatic of deeper societal fractures, calls into question the very foundation of American democratic ideals and the integrity of its political processes. In this disquisition, Hasanabi's eloquence serves not merely as a vehicle for critique but as a clarion call for introspection and reform. He implores his audience to transcend the superficialities of partisan allegiance and engage with the substantive issues that underpin political life. It is an exhortation to reclaim the essence of democratic engagement and to reimagine politics as a noble pursuit of justice and equity. The Israel-Palestine conflict, as dissected by Hasanabi, becomes a microcosm of broader geopolitical and societal dynamics. His analysis transcends the immediate context, offering insights that are universally applicable to the understanding of power, resource distribution, and the role of rhetoric in shaping public opinion. In doing so, Hasanabi positions himself as a critical voice in the ongoing dialogue about the future of democratic governance. Thus, Hasanabi's reflections are a potent reminder of the imperative to maintain a critical, independent perspective in the face of overwhelming partisan pressures. His discourse serves as a beacon for those seeking to navigate the complexities of modern political life with integrity and discernment. As America grapples with its political and spiritual identity, Hasanabi's voice stands as a testament to the enduring power of critical thought and the pursuit of justice. In the maelstrom of contemporary political discourse, where the cacophony of partisan dogma often drowns out the mellifluous tones of reason and equity, it is incumbent upon individuals, activists, and policymakers to champion the cause of media literacy with the fervor of an Athenian orator. To navigate the treacherous waters of misinformation and hyperbole, we must arm our citizenry with the intellectual armor of critical analysis. Establishing robust educational frameworks that prioritize media literacy from an early age is paramount. By fostering a populace adept at discerning fact from fiction, we shall cultivate a garden of informed, rational participants in the democratic process, thus ensuring the verdant growth of our civic society. In tandem with this pedagogical crusade, we must invigorate our collective commitment to promoting critical thinking as the bedrock of public discourse. Activists and policymakers alike must advocate for curricula that challenge students to question assumptions, dissect arguments, and evaluate evidence with the rigor of a Socratic dialectician. This intellectual empowerment will embolden individuals to transcend the superficial allure of partisan rhetoric, enabling them to engage with the substantive issues that underpin our societal framework. By inculcating a culture of critical inquiry, we shall forge a polity resilient to the vicissitudes of demagoguery and sophistry, thus fortifying the very foundation of our democratic edifice. Moreover, in the crucible of geopolitical strife, it is imperative that we advance peace-building initiatives with the tenacity of a Herculean labor. Policymakers must prioritize diplomatic engagement and conflict resolution strategies that address the root causes of discord, rather than merely treating the symptomatic eruptions of violence. Supporting grassroots movements that foster dialogue and reconciliation among disparate communities will engender a more harmonious global landscape. By championing policies that promote social justice, equitable resource distribution, and mutual understanding, we shall sow the seeds of a Pax Romana for the modern era, thereby transcending the bellicose paradigms that have long plagued our world. In the final analysis, Hasanabi's critique is both a diagnosis and a prescription. It diagnoses the malaise afflicting contemporary political discourse and prescribes a return to the foundational principles of democratic engagement. His insights challenge us to look beyond the superficialities of partisan allegiance and to engage with the substantive issues that define our collective existence. It is a call to action that resonates with the urgency of our times.